Hello everyone, my name is Zach, and I am here to show you the ins and outs of D&D. Now, this sounds like 1,000 other videos out on the internet of how to play and what to look for and how to find a group and what to make and what works best. It's not this, mostly because those people are competent. That's not me. Also, because I don't really play D&D, I actually run D&D. Well, for people, not the entirety of it. That'd be cool. But I am here to show you how to start crafting your own Dungeons and Dragons experience. I am a DM. Let me guide you. So, first step in a long chain of things to do is to make an account. Now, what does that mean? You have to start going to websites to work with them. I'm going to start with Roll20. And Roll20 is if it's not the best resource, it has to be definitely the top 3. I actually can't even think of competitors. D&D Beyond's a very popular one. It's not my favorite, but past that, I really don't even have another option. So let's just say Roll20 is the best one out there. It has a breadth of options for you to start your games, and to use their tools is a great starting point. When you sign into Roll20.net, by the way, it's not a .com website, you have to make an account and sign in. I've skipped that step because of the privacy and informations, and I'm using my dummy account here. The dummy account is just for streaming purposes and not that important. That being said, wow, I've had it since 2017. Just noticed that. Weird. That being said, you'll notice that I have a couple games here and those can be ignored. At the top of Roll20, you're going to see Home, Games, Marketplace, Tools, and Community. All great little facets of information for you to use. Where do I begin? Create new game. Did you see that one coming? Did anyone catch that one that was going to happen? Now that that's loaded, this also could be very overwhelming. Don't let it overwhelm you. These modules here on the right side of the screen can be easily ignored. They have predefined games. They often include maps, characters, instructions. It's a great stepping stone if you're not sure where to go. Pathfinder's a different thing. Explorer's Guide to Wildmount is D&D. I didn't realize I owned that, so that's cool. Pathfinder, Starfinder, those are called... Why do I own all this? It is a great, great stepping stone to the world. I don't want that. I'm not here to show you how to start a module or what to look for or anything of that nature. Instead, I'm going to show you from scratch, moment 1, what to kind of work with. So, now that we have our account set up and we're ready to start a new game, we have to name the new game. For this tutorial sessions, I am going to be making a game that I've actually had in my head. So it is going to resemble that, if I'm honest. But we'll start here. Names and tags. Game name is Cleric's Adventures in Relic Town. It's both a joke and serious because I'm clever that way. Just below that, you're going to notice tags. Tags is a great way to make yourself known in the Roll20 community of looking for players. Oh God. Unfortunately, I can't spell, so that is something you're just going to have to get used to. I apologize for that. Pre-made characters, clerics, DnD 5e. I am using the 5e rule set. I apologize for not saying that earlier, but that is the name of the game. It is the most user-friendly as far as I'm concerned, and that's a great thing. So, just below that, optional, choose a character sheet. Do not take this as optional. It is required. Now, there are a billion different character sheets that you can use. We don't need a billion. We need the one that we're after. DnD 5e is by Roll20 is one of the sheets that Roll20 put together to assist with their probably most popular game on here. Go ahead and use this one as a template. Obviously, if you're creative or artistic and want to make your own, you're more than welcome to and upload it personally. Nah, though. This thing is brilliant and it works beautifully when it wants to. Not always. So, that being said, that is the two options we really have to generate with. I'm ready, create game. Creating. Look at that! It works. Isn't that magical? Now, this is the starting screen that you're going to be seeing as a DM a decent amount of the times. What you want to go ahead and make sure of is you got to stand out. You want to be seen as games. And a lot of the people that are going to be looking for the games to join when you run them are looking for time zones more than the game itself. A lot of people want to enjoy themselves and have fun with D&D or break it wide open. That's also fun in some people. And it helps to take away that focus because, again, they're focused on the time zones of when they can play, when they are free. So it's easier to not have to gussy up things. That being said, it would be a mistake not to. So, what do I mean by gussing it up? Make it clear and understood. So we're going to click on the wrong thing. Cool. Thanks for that. Rotten thing. We're going to choose a file, and you hopefully won't be able to see my my files, so it's not that important. I just downloaded a royalty-free image, which is my background there in my stream. This is streaming live. I'm also recording it for YouTube, so it's very exciting. And we're going to go ahead and use this image to kind of set ourselves apart. And again, it's royalty-free, so I ain't worried about it. One of these days, my computer will be able to process images a little bit quicker. So this is a bog standard generic image. Now, I'm using this personally because I'm recording this and putting it on the internet. Hello, internet. You can use whatever you want. If your particular D&D game is going to be curbing off specific styles, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, my brain shut off, popular novels, Drizzt, or Dragonlance, or Lord of the Rings, or Warhammer, or whatever is your specific flavor, of course, you can use an image to kind of inspire that. Again, I'm not going to do that, but it's completely up to you. Now, what are the other options here? So, and you can change this image anytime you want. You can see my information here, your invite and players. That should be self-explanatory, but we will cover that just to be sure. You can also sign up for Roll20 Premium, which is great if you have the spare to do it. I do it on my main account. It's very helpful for DM and things because there's a lot of fun tools, and ads are annoying. That being said, it's not required at this moment in time. We're taking the free route. Free is the name of the game. That being said, I didn't think I had any. We can go ahead and ignore that for now. The token marker sets, the defaults, are perfectly fine. They will carry you far into the game. So don't even worry about it. More things to pay attention to is what kind of game you're running. Obviously, we're going to be running Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And there are a lot of games. This is just the Ds. That's our goal. That's what we want. That's what we'll type in there. That's great. Next game will be Click to Edit. This is going to be your when I want to run the game. I don't have a game set up in mind of when to run this. I'm going to tinker and toy with it, so I'm going to leave this blank for now. However, you of course can set exactly when and when. The day and the time. All right. So, a fun tool that Roll20 automatically does, and I greatly appreciate it for them, is that the time zones for around the world, as it is an international system, are automatically reflected here, which is great. They will automatically show up as your time zone in correlation to the time zone you want to run. So make sure you set it for what you're comfortable with, and it'll automatically adjust for everyone else, which is a great feature. Below that, it'll go away. Below that, you're going to see click to enter a description. This is where you're going to tell the story of what is going on in your game. This is the intro. This is the setup. This is the draws people's attention. Hey, that sounds interesting. I want to start that game. Groovy. I'm not going to type this out right now because I am lazy and haven't really thought it out, and it takes me some time, so that's not good streaming or video making, I'll be honest. So we're just going to type in a couple things and save changes just so you can see the shift. Hey, look at that. It works. Isn't that magical? Below that is game add-ons. Game add-ons are going to be your packs that you already have. There's a couple free ones, I believe, that you can use to assist your DMing. This is, of course, a great system if you are really in-depth or creative. You can add custom decks, like the deck of many things. You can use your maps and stuff like that. There's a better way to do this, but this is a good preload system if you're going to looking for assistance. Again, not always free, so we're going to ignore that. Sorry, let me check something here. Okay, I just want to make sure. Sorry. So, after this, you're going to notice your recent game discussions. This gets a little confusing. So let's explain. Recent game discussions are for players that are already in the game. They're already invited. They were signed up for it. They're your friends, your buddies, your comrades, whatever they may be. This is where they can chat with each other. It's like a forum board for those that still remember what forums are. Are forums still a thing? Yeah, probably. This is where they can use that to chat. This is not where new players can come in and say, hey, I want to play your game. Here's the idea for my character. Can I join your game? What's the process? Etc., etc., etc. So that's where it gets a little confusing. But we'll cover the next area a little bit later. So back up to the top here, below our title, you're going to see launch game, content, which is your chat archive, which is for in-game purposes. You can click on this and see everything that your chat has ever listed. Now, of course, mine's going to be blank because it's a brand new game. But this is the area where you can see everything that's ever been chatted in the game, including all your rolls and whispers, which is good. It's helpful for keeping notes if you're as bad as me and not good at keeping notes. Looking for players is going to be our next one. That's going to be the fun one. This is where we're going to go in and create our listing. Creating listings is a straightforward and standard issue affair. When you're looking for a game on Roll20, you're going to see a laundry list of variable games. And I'll show you that in a bit, but once you sort the entire master list, the master in pile, if you will, you're going to start seeing specific games for specific circumstances. D&D, this time frame, this date, this is how often I want to do it, etc., etc. And this is how you would manage that as a DM. I'm not going to click this button just yet, but I will walk through that process later once I have everything typed out the way that I want it to. So we'll go back into our last section here, the settings. So these are a couple of things that you can change outside of the game that you will be able to change at any time you need to. Your game settings is straightforward. This is for your paid level subscriptions. We're not going to use these. That's not what we're here for. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll see more of the free access. Roll20 at this moment in time has an access vault where you're able to create a master character and use it on any D&D game that you run or play in, as long as someone has this toggled on, allowing you to import your own characters. As one character hops from game to game to game, it does happen. I've never seen it, but it does. Not a big deal. The next one is your default settings. And you can go through these and change exactly how you want things to appear naturally. This is a mess of information, and I'll explain in a little detail later. Because we're going to go through all of these steps in-game, so it's easier to visualize. But you can go ahead and change these masters permanently, which is great. We don't need that. Compendium settings. So, this is a little bit more. When we set up our character sheet, it automatically triggered the DnD 5e compendium. The compendium is the master list of all of the information that you can pull from, like D&D, or Warhammer, or Pathfinder, or Starfinder, or whatever books that are official that you would want to use. That being said, this is a freer account, so it's a little bit less useful. It helps for dragging and dropping of interesting variants and tools. You can play with a lot of it, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But this is something that you can manually change if you need to. I don't know why you would. And then this, of course, is your selection of availability things that you can use. And look, a convenient purchase button. Again, this is free. We're not going to be using that. Last on the list is an annoying amount of information that boils down to basics and standards. This is the character sheet that we've set up again earlier, but again, you can manually change it if you want to. We're not doing that. Because again, this sheet is so useful and so straightforward. However, there is one thing in here that I'm going to go ahead and change. And of course, I will change these I will show you the settings in game so that when we get to it, you can identify, hey, we already changed this. And it's role queries. Role queries are your advantage system. And every character sheet that I ever make, I make sure to go ahead and change the role query to advantage toggle. And the reason that it is without it changed, its default is always roll advantage, which means every roll is always going to be two rolls next to each other. And you have to always go like, oh, we need to do the left one. And it looks worse. It's a little bit harder to read. You have to think about it for 0.5 seconds longer than you would need to normally. So it's just not useful. That being said, that's basically all you're going to want to really adjust here. There is a ton of fun settings in here that you can change. Add Dex Tiebreaker to Initiative is useful as hell. Add character names to templates is fine. Auto level calculations is so good. Don't change that. Encumbrance you can change. I mean, there's so much to trigger. So don't let it overwhelm you. We're going to ignore it and get to it later. That being said, that should be all of the information that we need to really dig our teeth into D&D as a DM. So tune in next time when we get to hit the big launch game button. That will be exciting. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful day because you absolutely deserve it. And wear a mask and wash your hands. It's really easy. Bye.